Politics has always been more than laws, elections, and debates. It is, at its heart, a grand theater of human folly and wit. Behind the speeches, behind the polished smiles, and behind the polished shoes, there are stories real, ridiculous, and unforgettable. For centuries, leaders and rivals have tried to outsmart one another, not just with policies, but with words sharper than any sword. Sometimes they failed spectacularly, sometimes they triumphed with a single line, and sometimes they became the punchline themselves. Tonight, we're opening the pages of history, not the ones filled with dates and treaties, but the ones filled with laughter, irony, and sharp tongues. These are the tales from the Oxford Book of Political Anecdote Stories that remind us that even the powerful are hilariously human. So sit back, relax, and let's enjoy the side of politics that never makes it into official history but should. 1. Kennedy's Harvard comeback. A reporter once asked young John F. Kennedy how he managed to get into Harvard. Kennedy smiled, leaned forward, and replied, "They asked if I had a famous father. I said yes. They asked if I was rich. I said yes. They asked if I was smart. I said no. And they said, welcome to Harvard." 2. Churchill versus Lady Astor at a dinner. Lady Astor snapped at Winston Churchill, "Winston, if you were my husband, I'd poison your drink." Churchill calmly raised his glass and replied, "Madam, if you were my wife, I'd drink it." 3. Lincoln's long legs. A critic mocked Lincoln for being tall and awkward, asking, "Mr. Lincoln, how long should a man's legs be?" Lincoln answered, "Long enough to reach the ground." 4. Reagan and the student during a campus speech. A student shouted, "You don't know what it's like to be poor." Reagan stopped, smiled, and said, "Young man, I've been poor. The difference is I didn't stay there yelling about it." 5. Churchill's birdcage at a garden party. Churchill pointed to a bird in a cage and said, "That bird is like Parliament. It sings beautifully when trapped, but once you let it out." He paused, as the bird flew and left a mess. "It shits on everything." 6. Truman's mailbag. Truman's staff once showed him sacks of angry letters. "Sir, half the country hates you." Truman grinned. "Half? That means I'm doing better than expected." 7. Reagan's inflation joke. Asked how America should deal with inflation, Reagan replied, "Inflation is like a car with 4 flat tires. The economists keep arguing about which one to fix first. Meanwhile, the rest of us are stuck walking." 8. Churchill's napkin at dinner. A lady told Churchill, "Sir, you are drunk, and you've spilled wine on your napkin." Churchill replied, "Madam, that is not my napkin. It's the tablecloth. But thank you for noticing how close we've become tonight." 9. Truman's give 'em hell. When accused of being too harsh, Truman said, "I never give them hell. I just tell the truth and they think it's hell." 10. Reagan at the bar. Reagan once joked to a bartender, "Give me a beer. The last time I ordered one, Congress taxed it before I could drink it." 11. Lincoln's honesty. A man accused Lincoln of being two-faced. Lincoln looked around the crowd and said, "If I had 2 faces, do you think I'd be wearing this one?" 12. LBJ's budget. A senator complained, "Mr. President, your budget is too big." LBJ pulled out his wallet, showed a single $1, and said, "Don't worry, son, that's all you'll ever see of it." 13. Churchill's dinner toast. At dinner, someone toasted, "To our wives and sweethearts, may they never meet." Churchill raised his glass. "To politicians, may they never meet their promises." 14. Nixon in the elevator. 2 tourists whispered, "Is that Nixon?" Nixon turned around and said, "Yes, it's me. Yes, I can hear you. And yes, I am not a crook." 15. Reagan on TV during a press conference. Reagan was asked, "Do you watch much TV, Mr. President?" He replied, "Yes, but only the news. It's the only fiction I can believe in." 16. Churchill's snake. When told his speech was too aggressive, Churchill replied, "If you're trying to kill a rattlesnake, you don't call it misunderstood. You call it a rattlesnake and cut off its damn head." 17. Truman's schedule. A reporter asked why Truman always looked so busy. Truman said, "Because if a politician ever looks free, someone hands him another problem." 18. Reagan's old age. A reporter teased Reagan about being the oldest president. Reagan grinned, "I won't hold my opponent's youth and inexperience against him." 19. Churchill's horse asked if he trusted politicians. Churchill replied, "I trust them like I trust a horse at a race, to run fast until it sees money on the ground." 20. Lincoln's books. A man told Lincoln, "You don't read enough to be president." Lincoln replied, "Sir, I may not read many books, but the ones I read I understand. Try it sometime." If you enjoyed these, wait until you hear what comes next. See you in the next one.